Hello everyone, Alicia here with another lightened up Weight Watcher friendly recipe, and today's recipe is going to be for apple pie pudding cookies. Now I love using the pudding and pie filling in my cookies because it not only adds to the flavor, it more so kind of changes the texture of your cookies. It makes them a little softer, and I just like using it, and I don't think I really have a lot of recipe videos on my channel showing using it, so I thought I would show you guys this specific recipe. It's very much fall, so definitely perfect timing for it, and they're very delicious, plus they're really low in points. So I want to share this recipe with you guys, but first let me go over the ingredients and I'll show you what you're going to need to make these. First off, for sweetener, I am going to be using this Lakanto Golden. I'm going to be using a 1/3 cup in the cookie dough, and then back here I've got some Lakanto Classic. I'm going to be using 3 tablespoons of this for the spice mixture that I'm going to be rolling my cookies in. Now, I did want to say about the Lakanto, just recently I did a post on these where they were 0 points and then they weren't 0 points, and now currently as I'm filming this, they are back to being 0 points again. So I'm not sure what that was about, where they didn't have points, did have points, now don't again. Hopefully they stay not having points, because as you can see, they are a 0 calorie sweetener. And they are my favorite. I really do like the Lakanto. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I just really like this specific brand. But you can use whatever type of 0 calorie sweetener you want. But again, you're gonna need a 1/3 cup golden or brown, and then 3 tablespoons of a classic. Next up, you're gonna need 1 1/4 cups all-purpose flour. And then here, I've got my favorite low-calorie butter spread, which is the Brummel and Brown. I'm gonna be using 4 tablespoons of this. And then here is the pudding that make these pudding cookies. This is a 1.34 ounce box. I've seen these in 1 as well, so the sizing on these kind of change, but I think they're all the same points from recollection. But at this time I am using a 1.34 ounce box, which is 4 points. And it is sugar-free vanilla pudding and pie filling. So you'll need 1 box of that in whatever brand you want. I think they are all the same point-wise, because I've used the Jell-O. I've used several brands through the years. Next up, you're gonna need 1 large egg, and then here I've got some Mott's no sugar added applesauce. You're gonna need 1/2 cup or 1 container, which is 3.9 ounce, almost a half, close enough. Then you're gonna need an apple. Today I'm gonna be using, and pretty much always when I make these cookies, a Granny Smith. You need a medium apple though, because what you're looking for is about a cup, maybe a little more, of finely diced apple. And again, Granny Smith is my favorite because I like the contrast between the tartness of the Granny and the sweetness of the cookie, but you could use whatever type of apple you prefer. You're just looking for, like I said, about a cup, maybe a little over total diced apple. Next up, you're gonna need a 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon salt. You're gonna need some apple pie spice, 1 teaspoon for the cookie dough, and then 1 1/2 teaspoons for the spice mixture that you're gonna be rolling the dough in. Now I make my own. I will link the recipe where I show making this and the pumpkin pie spice up above and down below if you want to check that out. But if you don't have apple pie spice, you don't want to make your own, you can also sub with cinnamon. That works really well too. Lastly, you're gonna need a teaspoon of vanilla, and that is everything. So let me get these started. So in a medium-sized bowl, I'm gonna add in my 1 1/4 cups all-purpose flour, my package of instant pudding mix, teaspoon apple pie spice, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. And then I'm gonna just whisk those together really well. All right, now I'm gonna set that aside. And in a large bowl, I'm gonna add in my eggs, my butter spread that I've melted, 1/2 cup applesauce, 1/3 cup Lakanto golden or brown sugar sweetener alternative of your choice. And then finally a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now I'm gonna just whisk all of that together really well until it's all incorporated. Got that mixed together well, so now I'm gonna take my dry ingredients, pour those in, and mix those in. All right, I've got that mixed together pretty well. I'm not seeing any more dry ingredients. And this dough is gonna be very sticky. I don't know if you can tell that, but very, very sticky. So next, I'm gonna set that aside and I'm gonna get my apple peeled and chopped up. And I'm gonna chop it into pretty small pieces. You could also grate this if you wanted really small pieces of it. I like a little bigger, so I like to kind of just finely dice mine. And I should say I washed this apple very well before cutting it up. So again, I'm just gonna core it, peel it, all right, I've got that all diced up into pretty small pieces. And I've got definitely more than a cup here, which like I said, originally you really only need about a cup, but I'm gonna go ahead and just use all of this because Granny Smiths, even though I love to bake with them, I don't necessarily like to eat them, which is kind of funny because it smells really good, but they're just not one of my preferred apples to eat. So I'm gonna just put it all in my dough. Let me know what you guys like to use for baking apple-wise. Do you like the Granny Smiths? Or do you like to use something else? Sometimes I like to use Cosmic Crisp or like Pink Lady, something like that. That's not all the way tart, but got a little bit of tartness to it. All right, so now I'm gonna add those in to my dough and I'm gonna fold them in. And this smells so good. As I'm mixing it in, I wanna like grab a little bite of the dough, but I won't. That's a no-no with the raw egg, although I do it sometimes, have to admit. Okay, I've got this all mixed. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some plastic wrap over this and I'm gonna pop this in my fridge for about an hour, maybe 2, to get this dough chilled down, because as it is right now, it's just too sticky to work with. So I'm gonna let it chill for a little bit to make it a little easier to work with, but I will be back once that has sat for a bit in the fridge. Now that my dough is about ready, and I also have my oven preheating to 350, by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and make up my little spice mixture. I'm gonna roll my cookie dough in. So again, that is 3 tablespoons of the Monkfruit Classic or no calorie sweetener, plastic sweetener of your choice. And 1.5 teaspoons of that apple pie spice or cinnamon. You're gonna just mix the two together until they're well combined. All right, that looks good. So now I'm gonna grab my cookie dough. I've got a cookie sheet here, just a large cookie sheet that I've put a silicone liner on so that they don't stick. You could also just spray your cookie sheet with some cooking oil. And I've got my dough here. I let that sit for an hour, not quite as long as I should. It's still a little sticky, but I think I'll be able to work with it. I would recommend probably about 2 hours. If you have the time, I've got to pick my kiddo up, so I don't need to hurry my little process up here. So now I'm gonna take this cookie scoop and I'm just gonna kind of get roughly 2 tablespoon amounts like that. Drop that in my cinnamon sugar mixture here and just kind of roll it in there until my cookie's covered. And then I'm gonna place it on my cookie sheet. And I'm gonna just kind of slightly press down on this. These will not flatten on their own, and I want them just a little bit flat. So I'm gonna just flatten them slightly. You don't have to if you don't want to. So I'm gonna do the rest of these up and then I will be back. I've got these all done up and I ended up with 14 this time. I get anywhere from 14 to 16. It just kind of depends on the amount of dough I'm using in each one, and it's always varied a little bit. So 14 this time, and I'll have that in the recipe builder for count on these. But again, I think it's the same whether it's 14 to 16. So anyway, these are done. I'm now gonna put them in my preheated oven, and I'm gonna bake them starting at around 12 minutes, and I'll check them and go from there, but I will be back once they're done. So these I let bake about 14 minutes. They are looking done. There's just a little slight browning on the edges, which is kind of hard to pick up with that spice mixture that's on the outside of them, but they're just slightly browned around the edges. They're still a little soft, but definitely done. If I stuck a toothpick in the center there, it's gonna come out clean. So these are definitely done. So I'm gonna just let them sit there for another couple minutes until they're cool enough for me to remove them. And then I will put them on a plate and let you know points and all that good stuff. All right, I let those cool just a little bit, not too long, probably 5 minutes. Put them on a plate here. So the points on these are gonna be 2 points a piece, which I don't think is bad at all. I will have my hubby give them a try, let you know what he thinks of them. And I'll show you what they look like on the inside too. All right, go ahead and break one of those open for me, would you please? Hopefully that's picking up. They're really soft, almost muffin, cake-like.
Yeah, so those are very, not reminiscent, because I realize they're apple pie cookies, but they taste like apple pie.
Tastes like apple pie and a cookie, huh?
Mm-hmm. You get the apple and the spices, but then on the back end it's more savory. So I think with like apple pie, until you get to the actual like edge of the crust, it's not real savory.
Yeah, I was gonna say the savory part of an apple pie is the crust for the most part.
This way you're almost getting the crust with every bite. Well, you know, the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, it combines nicely.
All right, 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Worth it?
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think it's worth it.
I'm gonna go full Cookie Monster on this plate.
Well, you're not an apple dessert person.
No, now I'm just
You're just a dessert person in general?
Get calories person.
Because it's cold outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the one that really likes the apple stuff. So I really love these because they do taste like apple pie and a cookie. But
it's fun to do these with like peaches.
Yes.
Blackberries.
And you could do these with different. I think peaches.
The fruit pie. You should do a series of fruit pie cookies.
Fruit pie cookies. Now these are the pudding cookies too, which I've done before. I really do like the pudding.
I like those.
There they go. I like the pudding mix and cookies. I think it really does add to the overall texture. But anyway, guys, that was apple pie pudding cookies. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to check out the description box down below where you will find all the ingredients, instructions, WW Builder or Recipe Builder links, points, calories, macros, additional nutritional info, all that good stuff is going to be down in the description box below. So check that out. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.